My next movie review, I'm actually going to do a top 5 list. I've done my top 20 horror movie list. That was like 1 or 2 years ago. And there's been lots of good movies that have come out since then. So I'm going to give you my top 5 new horror movies that are favorites. The first one, and I'll talk briefly about each one and why I like them all, of course, is the remake of Carrie, which recently came out. It's Chloe Grace Moretz in the lead role as Carrie. I really liked this remake. There's been at least 2 remakes or redos or they had one that was Carrie 2, The Rage or whatever. I saw all of these Carrie remakes. But I feel like this one is actually really good. They also added a lot with having Julianne Moore play the mother. I felt like she did a really good job. She brought something new to it. They showed more about her backstory. And I really liked what they did with it. When we went to the theater, though, it was full of kids that had just came from school, and I don't know why they were even there, because it's rated R, I think, and they were at least under 16, but I don't think anyone ever tells anybody they can't get a movie ticket anymore. So they were allowed in, and they made the movie sort of a hell, even though I still love the movie and I tried to ignore them. They were laughing at some of the serious moments, like when Carrie gets her period and when the mother, attacks her, and things that people wouldn't normally laugh at, the disturbing parts of the movie. So it was a bit distracting watching it. I can't wait to buy it on DVD so I can just enjoy it on my own. But it was a great remake, well done. They added some stuff to make it more today. Like the way she kills people is a bit more intense, and some of the scenes are more, cool or better shot. They added more about, like, her discovering her powers, which I thought was good. The original is still amazing. I think it's in my top 20 movie list. You can check that out. I'll put a link to it after when I edit this video, once I upload it. I'll put links to that. It's a 3-part series I did, where I did like 10 movies or 5 movies each on each video. But Carrie is in my top 5 best new movies. Carrie remake. My next movie is, I have it here. Also, Chloe Grace Moretz is in it. It's called Let Me In. It's also a remake of another movie, Let the Right One In, which I have seen too, but I really like this one. I don't like stuff that's in other languages, I'm not into that. So there was some of that in the other one. But I really like this one. I really liked, it was very brutal, actually. Watching the young boy get bullied in school. Very brutal, very intense. Really, though, I thought the performances were excellent. Richard Jenkins plays, he's kind of like her father figure in the movie, but then you realize he used to be in the same position as the boy, and he, because she doesn't age because she's a vampire. I'm not giving away anything that anyone's, that's what it's about. You saw on the cover, she's got blood in her mouth. So, it's a good vampire movie that's not the typical vampire movie. I really liked it. And it's one of the best new movies in recent memory. There hasn't been a lot of, horror movies lately. So it was easy to make a list. My next one is Cabin in the Woods. I'm sure you expected this. If anyone's a big horror fan, this movie sort of not like Scream, but like in its own way, sort of does what Scream does, which is talking about horror movies or sort of doing a send-up of horror in a way. Like, it's not totally a satire. I don't know how to describe it. It's like they sort of take horror movie, like the typical plot of a horror movie, and then they spin it and make it like, not like the Hunger Games, but like someone's behind the scenes creating the horror while the people are having it happen. Like, I found like it had that sort of like element like the Hunger Games, where there's someone creating the danger and like, you know, watching over it. So I thought that was cool. And when I first watched it, I wondered if it was like a TV show like Hunger Games was. Like, I thought like maybe that's what it was, but then it was something, you know, more different than that, which I thought was ingenious and really good. Chris Hemsworth is in it as well, and he's not in it much, but he's in it. It was actually shot before he did Thor, and just a good movie. Like the main girl in it too. I like when the main girl is, you know, that innocent but not really thing, and it's really good. There's one that I want to see that's coming out, I think is similar to this. It's called You're Next, and I would like to see that because I might end up adding it to this list, but for now, it's only 5 that I have on the list. My next movie is Insidious, and the new Insidious Part 2. I almost want to put the new one, The Conjuring, in here too, but yeah, it's great too. I'm not going to talk about it, but it is good too. Made by the same people. But I want to talk about Insidious because Insidious is good. Really good movie. I like the characters in it. I like the way they scare you. I like that it's in a dream, but not in a Freddy Krueger way. Like in a mystical, like, not mystical, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, going inside the dream into another land is really a cool idea. I mean, that's why I like Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Like, dreams are endless. You can do anything in dreams. So it's amazing that there's only been 2 major horror movies that have done something involving dreams. And really, like, you know, Rose Byrne is in it, and what's the guy's name? He's in a lot of movies, and he's in The Conjuring too. Patrick Wilson plays the main guy, and in the second one, I'll talk about the second one too, he's, like, evil in that one for a while, and that was, like, he really has good range. And, Lynn Shay, who is involved in the Nightmare movies, I wonder if it had something to do with that they did, like, the horror movie, like, that has, you know, dreams involved in it. She's in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, if you haven't noticed. She's the teacher in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1, Lynn Shay, who plays, like, the psychic or whatever she is. So I really like that. I really like that movie. Also, Paranormal Activity. I don't think it's on my top 20 horror movie list, but there are good movies. It's just they've gone too far now. They've gotten kind of stupid. Like the Saw movies, like just too many. They still have good scares. So I'll put that as an honorable mention, along with The Conjuring. And also, Sinister is a great horror movie too. I don't have it on DVD yet, so I need to see it a second time to really say, you know, is it in my top movies, but it had some really good scares, some shocking moments. Ethan Hawke is in it as well. He's the main guy. It's got almost like a crime thing involved, like a mystery too, but then it's got the spooky, like there's a demon or ghost involved in that. It's good as well. Really like that as well. So those 2 are honorable mentions. Well, 3. So this could be a top 10 list. It should be. But I wanted to do it as a top 5 to really narrow it down. So The Conjuring and Paranormal Activity as well as Sinister are also 3 great movies too, that I will just say honorable mention to them. My next movie is my final movie, which is number 1 favorite new movie. And this movie is so badass. I freaking fucking love it. I will swear right now. Because this movie is sick. I love this movie. And it is Evil Dead Remake. Oh my god. Love it to death. Okay? Love this movie. It's sick. Like, I've seen the original back in the day. And it was scary, and it was good, but, like, back in the 80s, especially when things were low budget, I just thought this was better in a lot of ways. To me, a lot of people still like the original more, but I thought this was just, like, you don't see horror movies like this anymore. You don't see where they go full-on goriness. Like, not the torture porn ones where they, like, cut people's arms off, but, like, when someone kills, like, somebody, and they just wham, wham, like, crazy, like, it's rated R. Like, I think some of these other ones, this is rated R. Yeah, no, 18A. It says 18A on it. Let me see if Insidious. Insidious is 14A. Adult accompaniment. And Cabin in the Woods is also 18A, which I'm not sure why that is. Well, there's some crazy moments in that, but I feel like this should be R. Because it's like, the violence is so, like, real looking. Like, when they... where do I begin? When she cuts her mouth, like, across like this, looks pretty real. And then when the girl in the bathroom, like, beats the guy with the top of the toilet, like the, whatever it is, the plaster, and attacks him with, like, a mirror and all this other stuff. Like, it's just brutal, crazy. The main girl, which her name is Jane Levy, look out for her. I hope she does well. I hope they do a second one. Or whatever, she does other movies, because that movie was so good. So good. One of my top favorites. I am a horror fan. Like, I like the Backstreet Boys, and I like Disney, but I'm into these badass horror movies. Like, most people wouldn't expect that when they know me, but I can sit through any horror movie, unless there's rape or, like, some kind of sexual assault. Like, I won't watch I Spit on Your Grave or any of that. I've seen Last House on the Left, not the original. I can't watch it. I don't like that sort of violence. I don't like seeing women get degraded in that way. And I feel like, I just like the adrenaline rush of the other types of horror movies where there's a ghost or there's a, some psycho with a knife, like, just that kind of thing I can deal with, and I like that type of movie. Or even, like, with Evil Dead, it's like a demon, Not something that happens to people in real life, like rape. I just can't. So, you'll never see a list where I'm going to say any of the movies like that, but... So, my top 5 new movies. Evil Dead. Insidious. Oh, sorry. Cabin in the Woods. I held up the wrong one. Insidious. Let Me In. And the new Carrie movie, which I don't have yet because it's not out on DVD, but I will get. So that are my top faves. Recent movies.